vulnerability and femininity have to go hand in hand. You truly cannot have one without the other. This is Dee, and this is the Come Up Straight Up. This is Dee. Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new to this channel, welcome. Well guys, I am back with a new video, and in this video I will be speaking on the power of vulnerability as it relates to femininity and the come up, and the need for vulnerability, particularly from Black women, in light of the messages we are constantly receiving. But before I get into all that, you guys, please do not forget to subscribe to this channel, as well as my second channel, Pretty and Things, and do not forget to turn on those notifications so you are aware whenever I upload a new video just like this one. So let's get right into it. What is a vulnerability? My definition of vulnerability is the willingness to keep your heart open to the possibilities and to not assume the worst of people because of past failures and disappointments. Vulnerability is an important quality for all women to have, but particularly Black women who are seen as masculine and aggressive and pretty much the furthest thing from a feminine woman as you can get. Now, some people might see vulnerability as a weakness, and I completely disagree with that. You know, for me, I think it's the complete opposite. I think it takes strength to put yourself out there without any guarantees that you're going to get something back. It takes strength to risk failure. But as I discuss on this channel, we have to take calculated risk. And what I mean by calculated risk is not to jump into a relationship or get attached to a man too quickly. You lay back, you observe, you listen, and you evaluate him on how he treats you and how he treats others. The lack of vulnerability comes from hurt, right? And from pain. And so we build these walls to keep people out, to keep, to lessen the chance of being hurt again. Problem is, when you build those walls, you also block your blessings. You prevent something or someone that is good from entering your life. So many people, male and female, operate from a place of negativity, okay? And I'm going to give you an example from the online dating world. And this is an example of men, some of the men you will meet. You go online and you connect with someone, you exchange a couple emails and then maybe a few texts. Now, for me, I am the type of person who would never, ever meet anyone without speaking to them first. That is a non-negotiable. But if you are online, you're going to meet these men who send you an email or text and say, okay, let's meet. And it's like, no. And my response to them would be like, well, I need to have a conversation with you first. I don't even know if I want to meet you at this point. And so invariably we would have some kind of conversation, and we would discuss, obviously our experiences. And one of the things that came up, for a lot of these men, they connected with women, they agreed to meet women, and these women turned out to be 20 years older or 50 pounds heavier. One guy told me that he walked right past the woman and he didn't even recognize her. The issue I have, and as it relates to vulnerability, is you're guilty until proven innocent, basically. And he and I were having this conversation, and during the midst of this, and he was telling me these experiences, I asked him, okay, what does this have to do with me? They are operating from a place of negativity, of disappointment, of anger, of being deceived. You've had these situations with others, now everybody else has to pay for them. Now, when I speak of vulnerability, I don't mean necessarily wearing your heart on your sleeve. Vulnerability does not mean being a doormat and cooking and cleaning and doing all of these things because you're willing to give. The willingness to give is what has broken so many hearts. The ways a feminine woman can show vulnerability to a man is, for example, asking his opinion on something. Men like to know that their opinion is valued. Asking his advice, men appreciate that. Asking for his help, and I'm not talking about paying your rent, at least not in the beginning. I'm talking about, a little bit playing the damsel in distress. Again, that is something that Black women in particular are not accustomed to doing. One of the characteristics of being vulnerable is also being patient. And if you are a Black woman who prefers Black men, and who would, is seeking a Black man, a Black husband, you may have to be patient. You will likely have to be patient. When I say patience, I'm talking about the patience given to a Black man who has most of the characteristics of a high value man. I'm talking about the diamond in the rough. This type of man may be worth investing some time in. And I say that because he may be a high value man, he just doesn't know it yet. He may be husband material, he just doesn't know it. If you think of marriage, for example, you look at the white community. 80-90% of white Americans are married, they get married. And that is because marriage is sort of just embedded within the fabric of their community. It is an expectation. It is the standard. It is a milestone that eventually it is sort of understood that you will reach, that you should reach. Okay, so contrast that to the Black community, where sadly 80 to 90% of our children are born to single mothers. Now, if you are a Black man who has never had a father in your life, who's only seen your uncles, your brother kind of just running around on women, have several baby mamas, and you've never seen marriage, you've never seen a healthy marriage, you may have never seen a marriage at all, it's tough for you to have any sort of understanding of why marriage. What are the benefits of marriage to me? Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not telling anybody to be the come-up woman. I'm not saying to invest in those who do not invest in you, because the diamond in the rough will give. He will give of himself. He will treat you like the princess you are. He will value you. The diamond in the rough will not ask you for money. The diamond in the rough often will require patience, because he may not understand that behind every great man is a great woman. As women, as people, we all know when it comes to romance, you win some, you lose some. But you cannot allow past failures to make you jaded and negative and invulnerable to anyone. Because the strong Black woman is so embedded into the fiber of our community, Black women often lack the vulnerability that subsequently makes us feminine and gives us that sexy allure. Women who can be vulnerable exude a softness. Vulnerability and femininity have to go hand in hand. You truly cannot have one without the other. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please thumbs it up. And also, you guys, please comment on this video. You know, I love reading your feedback. And do not forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm gonna put my handles either below or here somewhere. So until next time.